Hello and welcome to this video. I am Sye Rodriguez and I am here to share with you today authentically as a person in front of a camera. But today I wanted to just share a little bit about what I'm doing lately and what I'm learning from these experiences. And maybe we could have a theme, but the main theme that these things represent is that we don't, sometimes people, sometimes me, sometimes you want to think that you know something, you want to be very sure about yourself, you want to know that you have the answers, and you're thinking that you're going to fight for those answers. And maybe you're thinking in your head too, you relate to certain people, they think something, and you want to be able to relate to them, and they feel strongly about something, so you kind of group yourself in with them because you kind of feel the way they do, but also you see the other side of things, so you're not really sure how you feel, but you kind of feel more strongly about this one side over here or over here, where the people that are kind of your allies or friends just where they are, and you relate to them. So maybe at some point you get into a conversation with them and they feel very strongly and you kind of feel strongly, so you relate to them. But then out over here you meet up with this person and they feel very, very, very strongly the opposite of how you feel. But because they meet you with such strong opposition, then you take the extreme side of the story, even though you're not really sure that you feel that strongly about it. You might feel strongly about it, but maybe not that strongly. So moral of the story here is that there's a lot of things to know, and it's impossible to know everything. So even the very most intelligent person in the world, I would venture to say, if you put them on the spot and ask them some questions, if you ask them questions about a broad enough array of subjects, then you'll probably find out at some point that there's something that they know nothing about. And then you could drill them about that subject and you could make them to look really stupid. So, same thing happens in politics in the world today. When somebody doesn't know about something, then that's where they usually get nailed by the critics, so that they can make them to look like a fool, and therefore not somebody that you would want or imagine to be somebody who would be a leader of any kind. Now, that brings up the subject of one of the things that I've been doing recently, which is reading a book called Colts. Now, when I first started to hear this book, Colts, because I'm listening to it through Audible, I thought that I don't really like this book. And I knew I was going to continue to listen to it in spite of whatever I thought about it, because I wanted to see what it was all about. And so, as I've gone further through the book, there are a lot of good things about the book. Now, I completely am different than the author of the book, and I would say that I am far from really relating to the author in their particular stance and the way that they've decided to deal with the knowledge and the information that they've acquired. On the other hand, though, I think that this book is very good because it brings up all of these ideas that people have had throughout time about what they believed to be very true, or they felt strongly about, based upon some sort of science, maybe science, sometimes real science, sometimes not real science. But these authors, basically sometimes doctors, who came up with these ideas that were not really based in real understanding of what's going on, but they perpetuated these thoughts and ideas, and those extended into our society. And now lots of people really, to this day, sincerely believe that these particular ways of thinking about things are accurate, and they are not accurate in many cases. That being said, I wrote my own book called Health Beyond Diet Dogmas, and I think that was a pretty right-on book. In case you want to read it, and I've got to have some way to pay for making these videos, so you can check that out if you want to. But that aside, I wanted to say that the point of this, reading this diet cults and what I learned from it, and what I'm learning still because I'm not all the way through, is that, wow, you know what, we think we know stuff, but and some of us do, and what you always want to do really when you hear something that's a little bit out there, you do want to go and investigate a little further. And unfortunately, there's a lot of information to kind of sort through to get to the source, and there are scientific studies that show opposing or seemingly, I should say, opposing ideas of what's true, or contradictory ideas of what's true. So you're going to have to really just decide what you think about something when you come to certain information, and you can't really draw the line because it seems like this is true and this is true too. So that's a kind of a bias probably that occurs in studies sometimes when somebody wants to have a certain outcome. Even if they set up controls, they still might on some level sway the study in a way that is in their favor, that doesn't really consider all variables, so that they can find the outcome that they want to find. And of course I believe in science, real science, that actually has real solid evidence for its proof. But so that's what I'm saying. I believe in science. And so what is science? Science is taking a hypothesis and testing it out and seeing if what you thought might be true is true. And then you have theory, which is like, okay, it seems true. And then there's real solid facts, like this is indisputable, we've done this over and over and over again, and we know now that this is the cause of this. And so yeah, there are things that you can kind of put your faith in and believe in, but there's a lot of information out there that's put out by the supposed experts that is not real. It's not going to be healthful. For example, in the case of health science, that's not real grounded science. And it's easy to create an argument that you realize later is actually hurting you, because you are taking a very strong stance of it. You're putting all this energy out to support your side of the story, and then later on you might find out that that's not really even true, and you're going to be embarrassed. So the way that I would deal with this is to have an opinion. Don't be shy about expressing what you think about it, but definitely don't try and tear somebody else down about their opinion if you haven't really grounded yourself to find out what the truth of the matter is. That being said, that brings up the next subject that is kind of along the same lines. I basically had I don't know what you would call it, but with another person, a disagreement, and we had, I would say, a distaste for each other based upon some actions that transpired between us. And it came down to us going back and forth defending our own side. And what I realized is how much energy that took to do that. Now, if you are accused of something or you are slandered, I do recommend that you defend your name, but you have to know when you're going to defend it. If you are looking at YouTube comments, for example, and you see that somebody is just like, oh, you're an idiot, why even bother? I mean, they don't know you. They haven't come up with an argument, and they're saying you're an idiot. Just forget about them. Don't even waste your energy thinking about them, and realize it's probably a good thing that there's somebody out there calling you an idiot. If you disturbed somebody, then you're probably saying something that means something for people. So that's a good thing, and you probably know that. But I would even take it further to say that once you've defended yourself, if you feel like you need to defend yourself, and it's actually a valid argument, or at least the argument is around the truth, and somebody's saying something about you that you feel like you need to jump to your defense, I'd say go ahead and do it once, good. But if that person comes back with more stuff that maybe isn't true, again, why waste your time? And even more importantly, consider your own actions in everything that has transpired, and just look and see, could have you done something differently to just maybe avoid this whole circumstance? And do you have any fault, or does your conscience tell you at all in any way that this situation that you maybe felt like you were the victim in, that possibly maybe you maybe put a stick in the hornet's nest? I don't know if there's a better way to express it than that, but maybe you can just examine your own conscience and see if it's something that you did that maybe you had to learn a lesson from. But bottom line is don't waste your time and energy trying to prove something or argue about something in a way that's very emotional for you, that you can't really back up 100%. And that being said, don't be a hater in general. For your own good, just do the best you can to make life the best you can, and keep good energy and give that to other people, because probably the people who are arguing with you, they probably just need some good energy from somewhere too, and maybe if you don't react to them, then they'll be able to see past their own stuff. And anyway, that was what I really wanted to say today. So I'm glad that I had a chance to talk with you about this. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Oh, it didn't look right. That didn't look right either. I don't know how to do that right salute. You know what I'm talking about? And that's all. I'll talk with you soon.